Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to go over two things really briefly for you that will help you with determining slopes of lines. Okay, so I want you to know that the slope of a line, we talked about that M represents the slope, and that is the rise of the line over the run, right? How much the line goes up and how much it moves from left to right. So up or down, and then the run is left to right. Now there is a formula for finding the slope of a line if we don't have a graph to read those points. So the formula for slope is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Sometimes this will also be referred to as delta, or m equals delta y over delta x. That's a triangle. Because delta means change in. So we're looking at the change in the y values divided by the change in the x values. So for example, let's say that we have 2 points on a line. So the first point is 0 and 65. So this is an x1 and a y1. And the second point on the line is 152. So 152. So this is my x2 and my y2 because I have two coordinate points, my first point and my second point. So I have two sets of x and y values. So in order to find the slope of this line, I'm going to plug these values into the formula. So m equals, now my y2 is 52, so I'm going to have 52 minus my y1, which is 65, over my x2, which is 100, minus my x1, which is 0. So m equals 52 minus 65 is going to be negative 13. And 100 minus 0 is just 100. So therefore, the slope of this line is negative 13 over 100. Okay, it's got a rise of negative 13, so I mean it goes down by 13. So down 13 and over 100. All right, so that's the slope, finding the slope of the line from 2 points using the slope formula. All right, so the next thing I just want to go over is the equation of a line. So the equation of a line is represented by this form. So y equals mx plus b. Now, the m represents the slope. Remember, m equals the change in x over the change in y over the change in x. So m represents our slope, and b is going to represent our y-intercept. So that means where the line is going to cross the y-axis, right? Okay, so if we have, for example, let's change the color on here. if we have a line that is y equals 2x plus 3, that means that my slope is 2 and my y-intercept is 3. So if I wanted to graph this line, I would start my line at positive 3 on the y-axis. So I'm going to make a dot right here at 3. Okay, and then to show that slope means that we go up by 2 and over by 1. Remember, there's an imaginary 1 underneath the 2. So if I was going to graph this slope, I'm going to go up by 2 from 3, so up to 5 and over by 1. Right? I could do another dot. I don't have 7 listed on this graph here, but we'd go up by 2 again and over by 1. And there's the next dot. To do the back of the line, we would go back to 3 and we're going to do the opposite slope. So instead of going up by 2 and over by 1, I'm going to go down by 2 and back by 1. Right there. Down by 2 from here and back by 1. So hard to see. 1 back by 1. There we go. And then again, down by 2 from here and back by 1. Oops, that's not really on this right spot. Down by 2 and back by 1. Down by 2 and back by 1. Okay, so that's what our line looks like. Y equals 2x plus 3. So we always start at our y-intercept, our plus 3, and then we plot our slope. Up by 2, over by 1. Up by 2, over by 1. To do the back part of the line here, we do the opposite slope. So we go down by 2 and back by 1. Down by 2 and back by 1. All right, so that's what that line looks like. Let's do another one. Change the color here. So let's say we have a slope of, okay, we've got y equals, let's do a negative 1 over 2x plus 1. Okay, so this line is going to start at positive 1 on the y-axis. So right here. And our slope says we're going to go down by 1 and over by 2. So from this point on the y-axis, this positive 1, I'm going to go down by 1 and over by 2. Right there. I can keep going with this line, down by 1, over by 2. Down by 1, over by 2. And again, I can do the other part of this line, kind of the back of the line, by doing the opposite slope. So if my slope here was telling me to go down by 1 and over by 2, I'm going to go up by 1 and back by 2. Right there. Again, up by 1 and back by 2. I've got the Adobe Flash Player wanting to open here. Okay, up by 1, back by 2. Up by 1, back by 2. Oh my goodness. Here we go. All right, so these lines, hopefully you can see those lines well. But now we have taken the equation of a line and represented it on a graph. So I've got 2 different lines graphed here, the green line and the orange line. And then we could take our ruler and just line it up with the lines and draw the line right through. That's kind of difficult for me because I don't have a ruler on my tablet. I'll do my best. Let's see. Oh dear. It's not great, but you get the idea, right? And we should always put arrows at the ends of our lines because that shows that this line continues. I would do the same with the green, right? I would line up my ruler through all my points and connect them with a line and draw my arrows at the end. So that's our equation of a line. So the two parts of the equation of the line are the slope, which is the m, and the y-intercept, which is the b. All right.